Good afternoon. So, Trump's on his third indictment, but poll numbers have actually, not only have they not gotten worse, they've sort of stayed the same and maybe even gotten better. So, why? Why is it that the Trump numbers haven't gone down with the indictment, and that his nomination and maybe even election seems more likely? Like and subscribe and hate and comment. So, first, I'm actually going to explain my credentials, because I never do. I have 20 years of experience in politics in South Florida. I do blog on the subject. I also have a degree in it, political science, computer information systems, and business school at the University of Miami. 2001. I was sort of the redheaded stepchild of the group, but I actually have a certain point of view that may be a little bit better to explain. So, why is it that the indictments have actually helped Trump? Well, it's not unique to him. Bibi Netanyahu has had the most votes for his Likud party for 6 elections in a row, and while he temporarily had to leave when the other side cobbled enough to get 61 for about an hour and a half, he's back, even though of course he was indicted a pretty long time ago. The current president of Brazil, his former home, was, a jail cell, and before that it was the presidency of Brazil. You see, people tend to put you back in power. There is sort of a rally around the flag, but also it's that if you can survive it, which most people do, you get a lot stronger from it. And it becomes a lot more difficult to use it against you. If you look at Miami politics, you've had Raul Martinez, who was indicted on crimes, gets found not guilty, serves 20 plus years as Hialeah mayor. I mean, Joe Carollo threw a teapot at his wife, and he's still involved in city of Miami politics. Don't get me started on the fact that nobody ever gets convicted of a crime in Miami who's involved in politics. And you start to kind of get this wondering that maybe, just maybe, people tend not to value the arrest itself. But let's look at the 3 charges that he has, or the 3 areas of the charges. The first one, the one that was the most likely to not convict, was of course the one that helped his rise. Yes, Donald Trump paid somebody to keep quiet about a sexual affair. That's probably not a crime under the way that it was done. And to say it's a campaign violation is some pretty strong stones. Because, first off, everybody violates campaign violations. Everyone does it. Nobody ever gets the math right. Even me. When I ran for office, I took $297 from one company. The maximum was $250. I refunded $47 back. And I had people say if I would have won that election, they were going to bring me up on ethics charges. Because I accepted the check and gave $47 back? Yeah, because rules are strange. Now, should you pay people to not disclose a sexual relationship? Yeah, you probably shouldn't have the sexual relationship to begin with. But that doesn't mean that it's a campaign violation. As John Edwards, the 04 and vice presidential and 04-08 Democratic candidate, would learn the correct way, is that in 08, he paid a woman to have a job on his campaign so he could continue to pay her while she was having his 5th child, while he was married to a woman who was dying of cancer. And while the courts, while he was indicted and tried, the jury found him not guilty because, paying somebody off to keep something quiet is not necessarily a political way to bribe somebody. In fact, the motive being that he was trying to keep everything secret was what got him free. The same principle basically holds in that case. Why did he pay the money? Well, maybe to keep his wife from finding out, maybe to keep his business from finding out. Remember, Donald Trump didn't think he was going to win the 2016 election, but he did have people he needed to, borrow money from. So having somebody help pay off a debt was more of a business decision, not a political decision. And the polls are going up on that first case because, that's something people can easily understand and don't care about. Now, the second one is probably the one that he has the most likely to be convicted of, if it wasn't in Miami. Now, the Miami people, my people, never convict anybody of political crimes. Kathy Fernandez-Rundle, the district attorney for Miami, for, 30 years, something like that, has never convicted a politician in Miami of any crime. From mayor of South Miami taking campaign contribution at City Hall, dismissed. to Raul Martinez, mayor of Hialeah, to Julio Robina of Hialeah, who also took money, both found not guilty. To, I don't know, the Democratic gubernatorial candidate of 2018, caught in a hotel room with drugs and a naked male prostitute who was ODing with money. Nope, no convictions. Donald Trump's on trial in Miami. And yes, while it's in federal court, I doubt you will find a Miami jury that will convict the man. Not because Miami is so lovingly Donald Trump, but because Miami is, well, hard to get anybody convicted. I mean, we all fled places we hate, whether it be Cuba, Venezuela, New York State, Canada, the Northeast. We all left because we needed a second chance. We are the recovery capital of the United States. We are the home of second chances. And so, do I think he gets found guilty of a crime he probably committed? Absolutely. He will be found not guilty. Now, the third case is the one that's, you could say, is the most problematic, but again, it's the one where the easiest alibi. Part of the crime of J6, when it comes to Donald Trump, you have to show that he didn't believe he won the election. Well, if you can't show that he didn't think he won the election, not that he won the election, of course he didn't. He lost way by much. He lost Georgia. He lost Pennsylvania. He lost Michigan. He lost Wisconsin. He lost Arizona. But if he thinks he won the election, then his actions of intent probably gets rid of everything. Probably gets found not guilty. And besides, after likely being found not guilty in the New York case, and probably being found not guilty in the Miami case, is there any chance he's going to be found guilty in the Georgia case? And even if he is, the fine people of Brazil have taught us, going to jail is not the end of your political career. Again, he's the president after going to jail after being president. And he's not alone. Most of the world has no problem electing somebody who is behind bars. And the weird comparison of Nelson Mandela to Donald Trump will be something that MAGA maniacs will come through. But like, subscribe, hate, and comment. And that's why Donald Trump's poll numbers are not going down, simply based on an indictment.